Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. In today's video I will be showing you how I do my illustrations, or a big part of my illustrations, showing you the full process from scratch, how I create textures, how I make the base sketches, how I work then digitally. I will be showing you all these three very important steps. So for the first step in the creation of our illustration, we will be starting by doing a texture. This texture later will be used to merge with the pencil sketch that we're gonna make to give to that sketch more information, and we also can use these textures just as they are for elements of the painting such as the sky or grass. Yeah, we just have to try out with the textures, see what kind of feeling we get from them, if they look like something, and then we just use them in our advantage later in the process. I recommend you to create a bigger archive of textures, just experiment with a lot of different tools, different supports, papers, textiles, rocks, everything that you can scan or take pictures of, and just create a folder where you have all these textures, because later they will be very important. The next step is the base sketch. For this sketch I'm just using a soft pencil. It can be a 2B, 3B, 4B pencil. Just one pencil that is versatile enough to make different shades of gray. And in this part of the process I'm just letting my creativity flow and just sketch what I have in mind. For this illustration I imagine a house in the woods with a car just leaving the house. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to represent. I'm very free with these sketches. I just start to sketch and mark the paper with whatever comes to my mind and let the drawing process flow. This is probably the most fun part of the process. You don't need to start with a very complex drawing. You can start with a simple house or anything you want to paint. Yeah, just start simple. Try to learn the basic concepts that I will be showing you in this video, and later on you can advance for more complex compositions. When I do these sketches I try to add already a good amount of information, because all of these lines that we are making now will be present on the final work. Yeah, take your time on this sketch and just add the textures you need for the grass, for the tree trunks, for the leaves. Yeah, just take your time at this part of the process, because it's probably the most important part. Now I will let you with a little bit of the sketch process, and then I go back to you when we move to the digital part. So now we got the sketch done, and it's time to move to the digital part. To pass the sketch to the PC I use a scanner that I bought in Marketplace, a cheap scanner from HP. You can also take a picture with your phone, just to see what is the way it works better for you based on the tools you have. I will recommend still having a scanner. This can be very cheap. You can just look for a second-hand one or something for an old printer that is a multifunction printer. And yeah, just get a scanner A4 that you can scan this, because you're always gonna get a higher resolution and a more perfect and clean image when you scan it with a scanner compared to a picture that you take with your phone. So we start our digital part by cropping the image of our sketch, just cleaning out the edges just to get exactly the parts that we want. After this we're gonna use the lasso tool, which is a selection tool that allow us to draw our selections, and with this tool we're gonna just erase all the background, so we have only the drawing part available to work in, and we have a clear background to work later. If you keep pressing on shifts, you can keep selecting different parts, which is very handy. Other nice tool is the patch tool, which allows us to just select different parts of the texture and bring these to other places. After we're gonna bring our texture to the sketch, but first we just editing a little bit the texture I just work with color balance and levels here to just bring the texture to a point that I'm more satisfied with. And then I'm gonna do Ctrl C, and then I'm gonna go to the sketch, and I'm gonna do Ctrl V, which is basically copy paste, and I will drop the texture on top of the drawing. I will reduce the opacity so I can see both the sketch and the texture, and in this way I just gonna have our sketch showing with much more depth and much more information that was created by our texture. This is the main goal of using this technique, is just using these textures so they already bring us a lot of detail, a lot of information, and yeah, just save us a lot of time then working these details, because the textures already do this for us. Now, using again the selection tool, or the lasso tool, we're gonna select the bigger parts of the different layers of the drawing. First I will select the trees, and then already have them in a different layer. And then I will do the same with the grass, and I will just work like that from the bigger parts to the smaller parts, always using the lasso tool for our selections, and then the color balance, the levels, to create the different colors and tones. Other important tool that I will introduce will be the dodge tool and the burn tool. These are like brushes that can apply shadow or light to your drawing. So experiment with that. You can see here under the trees how they work. But yeah, use the tools first by yourself on a texture or something, so you can see the range of options that they provide to you. And from now on, we're gonna be just rendering our drawing or illustration. Always try to work from the bigger parts to the smaller details, always using the selections. You also can use the brush tool for different details if you find a brush that suits some line work that you need to do, or to paint or correct something. Yeah, just feel free to use. There is no obligation in just using the selections and working that way. You can just be switching and trying out different tools. But most of the process from now on is just made with selections, working with the color balance and with the levels, and then also sometimes working with the dodge tool, the burn tool, to add those shadows and those gradients. Also, feel free to add new textures if you think they will fit better the different elements of your painting. For this drawing I only used the texture I made in the beginning because I wanted to stick with that, so I could show you how that texture alone with the drawing can create already a nice effect to the illustration. For the sky, I literally just use the texture that I add. I work a little bit the color, I work a little bit the levels as well. Also with the burn on the dodge tool, I just work a little bit making the top of the sky of the texture a little bit darker with a nice gradient. And I did the opposite from the bottom, the middle bottom, because the bottom under the trees, I also made it a little bit darker with the burn tool. And yeah, just use the textures to make the work for you. In this case, I thought the texture already had a nice feeling, a nice cloudy feeling to it, so I just decided to use it as it was, or as it is for the sky. Now we're just gonna keep working detail after detail, starting with the field, making sure I get the grass with enough detail and variation, then moving to the car and just rendering all the details that are left to work in the painting. Again, I'm just working with the lasso tool, levels and color balance here, just switching between these to get the effects I want. As I have mentioned in the beginning, start with something more simple, maybe just a house without background will be good to understand all these concepts. Yeah, just make the silhouette of a house, draw the different details, the windows, the doors, scan that, cut out the background and just work without background, just try to apply all these concepts, try to understand how the lasso tool works, how the dodge tool works, or the dodge brush, the burn tool. Try to add texture to that and just work with a simple drawing first, because that will be enough to understand all these concepts. And then later, when you control all those, when you get a better knowledge of how all these tools work, then you can move to more complex paintings. Having all these details done, we can move to the last part of the process, which will be the Procreate part. I don't think it's necessary to do this last part in Procreate, but I just find it easier. And this part is the lights, the glowing lights, which in this case will be the lights in the car and the lights in the windows. For this part, it's very simple. I just select a brush. It can be pretty much any brush. I like to use a brush that is close to watercolor. It's a brush that I bought from a pack of brushes. I will let you know in the screen the name of the pack of brushes. And I just paint the areas where I want the lights to be turned on. Then I set the mode of the layer to add modes, and this will be already giving us a nice glow to the brush strokes that we made. We can work then, of course, the color balance, the levels, the brightness, everything to better suit what we want. And yeah, and after that we can just work again with the brush. For example, here in the lights of the car, just work with the brush to make those nice popping lights. And yeah, and that's it. And that's it. That's the final results. This is quite a complex video, but I hope I touch a lot of important details, a lot of new things that I hope you never really tried before, and now you feel motivated to try. I hope you enjoy this process. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you enjoy to see how I make most of my illustrations. So practice by yourself, try out this technique, and have fun doing it. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.